Welcome back to Anarchy in the Ukulele. I am here with Alex Beds.
Hi, I'm Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store.
And Ukes with Alex.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I always forget.
But so we're doing some videos today, and we thought we'd have a look at your ukes because we see you with, I don't know, how many ukes a year do you reckon you're filming? I mean, it seems like hundreds.
That's
it's probably not, but it's...
No, I mean, let's say I film a video every single week. I mean, yeah, you're looking at like 300 instruments
It's gotta
a year
be, isn't it?
film and review.
Yeah, because then you do like your top 10s as well. And,
yeah, it's never ending.
Yeah, so we see you with all these ukes, but I thought we'd go through what you use, what you've settled on.
Yeah, so I bought 4 with me. The collection and the ones I've had, and there are a couple that I've kept that are I keep hidden away. Like I've got a kind of prototype that Pete Howlett made me. I've got a Sumi ukulele that I've mentioned in the past, but the 4 that I've bought with me today are the 4 that I go out and perform with. And there should be 5, but I actually left one at a gig last week, and there's a man looking after my brand new ukulele at the moment. But the 4 I've got,
was it a good gig?
It was a good gig. It was.
Sounds like it. You left a ukulele.
It was in Bicester. It was in a village hall in Bicester, and I went and taught a workshop and played, and they were all such lovely people. It was the first gig I got to play my Kanile'a Vavamalu, which is a uke I picked up in Hawaii 4 weeks ago, and it was the first time I got to play it, and the first thing that happened was I snapped a string just as we were getting ready to start, so I put it away and then switched to my other uke, and then just completely forgot it. Yeah.
Left it behind.
It's no big deal.
Nice.
God.
Hopefully you'll get it back soon.
I don't do that with your ukuleles, folks. Only my own.
I've got to ask the question that, just because everyone is going to ask in the comments, how many ukes do you personally... So not that you own via the shop, but how many ukes do you personally...
In my personal collection... it's fluctuated a lot over the years. I went through a phase recently of having to sell some when I kind of became more involved and took on ownership of Southern Ukulele Store. I had to raise some funds, so I sold quite a bit. But at the moment, I think I've got 10.
That's a respectable, yet not stupid amount.
But you're going to hate me, and you're going to hate me. Like, a lot of the things I've got, I've been gifted by people I really care about, and I could never sell something I've been gifted. I just feel really tacky doing that.
No, I can
so
see
there
that,
are some instruments that have been gifted to me by lovely people, and I don't really like the instruments because I've...
If you're watching this, you're giving Alex a ukulele.
Yeah, no, that's not true. That's not true.
He loves the instrument.
Yeah. I went down a rabbit hole there. I regret it. But no, I've got about 10. I think I've got 9 actually at the moment. But there's things in the pipeline coming that I'm kind of already spoken for, and anytime you see a left-handed exclusive run from a company like Flight or Carla or Snail, the reason that exists is because I really want one. And I said, fine, if you'll only do it if you make 36, then fine, do it. I'll have 36. I'll show you. And then I get stuck with 25 of them for about a year.
Cool. So what have we got? So
this is the uke that I've had the longest. This is a Kanile'a Monaco Tenor. This was the first one that they made, and it went on to be a limited run of 20 ukuleles. I selected all of the wood. I'm a firm believer that mango is the most diverse tone wood for the ukulele. Just for me personally, I can do the most with mango. And there are other woods that have their place, but if I could only take my Swiss Army knife instrument, would probably be mango.
I think I'd agree with that.
It's just it does a lot of the things that maple does. It does a lot of things that koa does, and if you play them very, very hard, they don't overcompress. It's bassier, which when you're playing solo is really helpful. Just as a gigging musician, I find mango really useful. For home use, it's not necessarily the one I pick up first, but this ukulele, it means a lot to me because I became very good friends with Kaimana Souza, one of the Souza family at Kanile'a in Hawaii. We started talking on WhatsApp at the beginning of COVID about things that we could do and the direction I felt the ukulele was going in at the time. And it's funny because it's about 6 months before Flight bought out the Fireball, And I said, not a lot of people were working with mango, but I've always loved it and gravitated towards it. And he found some sets of Hawaiian mango, and on a WhatsApp call I picked out these sets for what would be 2 years of custom models, and this was my favourite set, and he turned it into a ukulele for me. It looks very different to other mango ukuleles. It's much redder, and it has a very interesting bit just on the butt, which you forget there. And they gifted me this ukulele. When I said it was my favourite, I had no kind of, I had no expectations. I just thought that would be lovely. And then they surprised me by bringing this through, and it arrived at the shop, and it was fully left-handed. And I've got very few instruments, or have had very few instruments in the past that were fully left-handed, with the mango dots. And all of the other ones have a Monaco inlay on, but my one actually has my old logo inlaid in it in a green epoxy.
Nice.
And this was the first time they tried using these epoxy dyes, and now they use them all the time on a uke that I'll show you in a bit. So it means a lot to me. It's special to me. It's very dusty, which is the sign of an instrument that's well loved, I think. But not really. You just take for granted it's always going to do the job. You're not polishing it all the time. I just love this instrument. I can do a sound sample for you folks in a bit, but when I'm playing for myself, particularly, I find music, I use it to heal. If I feel sad, like, that's when I pick up an instrument, and this is the instrument that I think I've had the longest attachment to in the ukulele world. So that's my Monaco, and it's got my name in. It says Alex Beds.
It's beautiful. It is a bit of me that I like something that isn't too blingy, which this isn't at all. But it's just got little bits.
See,
special kind of.
I love blingy. Right. I wouldn't have. I don't know if I would have chosen bling for this though, because the wood set's so unique, and I think anything on it would have just detracted from it. And that particular series of ukuleles, the people that have them, they really love them, and they still tell me how much they love them. And I had the option to do it again, and I thought, no, let's leave it, because it was a really nice moment at a time in history where everything was rubbish, and a lot of people treated themselves to something nice, and I wanted that to be something that was a moment in time and reframed COVID in a positive way. So what I'm saying is this ukulele beat COVID. So that's my Monaco ukulele.
That's awesome. What we'll do is we'll do some little sound samples afterwards with just you, because there's nothing worse than someone sat here playing and me just going.
I thought you'd say that.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I've also just realised how frustrating this video is for me to film, because I can't actually play any of them because you're a lefty.
I'm sorry. That is a problem. But we can.
It's all right.
I bought plenty of ukes with me.
No, that's all right. That's good.
Perhaps
we'll
what we should
later.
do is make a video of you playing them.
We'll do them later. But
that's my Monaco tenor, but that's my special one with my name on.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes, that's the first one. And then while we're talking about Kanile'a, this is something that I came across recently, which is it's my Ilikai. Now the Ilikai is it's a sunset, and before I went to Hawaii, something about this instrument just really cheered me up. When they launched it, I was I don't know, I was going through a transition of taking on a lot more responsibility at work and home and life, and then one of these arrived, and I just loved it so much, and there was no way I could afford it. So I was looking at trading in that instrument you've just seen, and Kanile'a reached out to me because I made a video about that, and they said, please don't do that, we would really like to gift you one as a thank you for all of your contributions to the ukulele world, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's lovely though.
That someone with a shop in the south of England could have that kind of meaningful contribution, and I thank myself for it every day, every time I look at it.
But
so this ukulele, it elaborates on those epoxy inlays. So that's, you know, my Monaco was the first time they had a go at that, and now it's on a production model, and it's just a beautiful instrument, very aspirational. You know, like they are a premium priced instrument. It's flamed maple. They vary it up between quilted and flame maple on these, but I feel like it's the closest thing to a £8,000 Kanile'a, like a real one-off custom ukulele. But they do this at a much more affordable price point in context. It's still a premium instrument. But you're not going to buy this if you like how this looks. You're not going to buy this and then go, "Oh man, I wish I'd gone for something different," because it ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Maple as well. For me, a really diverse wood too. It's much more. The natural inclination is to say it's softer than something like mango. I find that it can absorb frequencies, so when you're playing fingerstyle pieces, the top notes kind of fizz slightly, and I really like that. If you play softly, you get a lot more out of this, and if you play hard, you get something that kind of clips. Really a very different sound to every other wood, in my opinion. Much more like koa than mango.
Yeah. It's a strong look, isn't it, as well? I'm just looking at, there's almost like this cross grain thing going on here, which is amazing. I mean, we might get close up on that later. But
we've got, so actually, if we are going to film another video today, I've got a right-handed one of these here, and they are all very different. The colour from one to the next, like the one I've got here that's available from the shop is a really dark blue.
Right, yeah.
And it goes to like very, very vibrant orange to a dark red. So they're playing with it as they go, and I like that they're all unique in that way.
I love that you like this, just because I don't know if it was on your post, or did Barry Maz review one of these?
Yeah, quite recently. Yeah.
And I think it was Barry's, and I think there was loads of comments about the looks.
Yeah.
But I love that. Do you know what I mean? As an instrument that just gets people talking. You don't need to love it.
Yeah, not everyone has to like everything.
Yeah.
But for every person that thinks, "Oh God, this is horrible," and the people who don't like it, they tell me every time I feature it. But the people that do like it, they walk in the shop, and if I have one on the wall, and they see it, they go, "Wow." Like it's impactful, and trust me, it doesn't wane. Like this is the only instrument I keep out on a stand at home.
Yeah,
which is why it's covered in. It looks like my partner's cat has walked on this instrument at some point. But yeah.
But see, for me, this is because talking about bling on the last one, I still wouldn't say this is bling. I don't think the colour makes it bling.
No, it's not. I think it's not shiny like a magpie would be for it. You know?
It's still kind of subdued in its style, yet you've got this bright red and bright blue, and it's
we played them on. We did a gig last week. Phil, who works for me at Sus, bought the baritone version. Wow. And it's the first time he's bought a ukulele. He's been working with me for 10 years. Yeah. It's the first time he's gone, "Do you know what, I really can't see anyone else have this, I've got to have it." And we played them on stage next to each other, and somebody took a photo, and I was like, I don't think there's a ukulele out there right now that's more iconic looking on stage, especially me and Phil tend to wear black or grey against kind of a neutral backdrop. It's not garish at all.
No, I really like it. I really like it. It's I can imagine it's not for him, but then you're talking to one of my favourites is bright orange uke, so it's
the line's great. That's what you're talking about. The lines are brilliant.
Yeah, but I've had plenty of comments on that.
Yeah,
kind of, like,
people can like what they like.
This, and I was like,
the traditionalists, and I'm not slagging anyone off at home, but the traditionalists are the ones that moan that no one does anything new.
Yeah.
And then when someone does something new, they wish it was made of mahogany and looked like all the other things that came before.
And isn't there a version of this now that's in the green?
So that's the Vavamalu. That's the ukulele I've just left in Oxfordshire.
Right, okay. Right.
We have one of them. That's going to be 3 pieces limited. I selected the woods while I was out there. And we've done that in collaboration with Ukulele Site in Hawaii because those folks, they do so many cool things, and I just wanted to work with them.
Yeah.
Like, they're good people, and they
are the coolest people in the ukulele world.
They're the coolest people in the uke world for sure.
Yeah.
I tell you, actually, I went out there a few weeks ago, and I've never really met them before. And I walked into the ukulele site store, and I saw Corey, and he went, "Alex," and he came up to me and gave me a hug, and then he just closed the shop, and we went for lunch. And I said, "What are we going to do?" We're like, "What if someone turns up?" And he said, "Oh, we've got a Ring doorbell, it'll be fine." And then the doorbell went, and he's just like, "I'll be back in a few minutes." And then we carried on eating lunch. I was like, "This guy's too cool." Yeah. Almost too laid back.
I watched the podcast you did with them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Alex looks like that's like one of the best days of his life that he's having there.
Do you know, it's so strange. When I should have taken more time to just enjoy Hawaii while I was there. I worked solidly from the moment I arrived to the moment I left. But there was a moment just before we hit record where I sat down and I was just completely in awe of the situation I was in. I was like, I am very, very lucky. There's a lot of people in my circle of friends that would just absolutely love to be where I am right now.
I mean, we're going slightly off topic here, but I've got one more question to do with that, which is, how many times have you watched back the playing parts of that podcast where you're playing with them?
I mean, probably no more than 1,000.
Yeah, but with me, I would have that on repeat.
What I did do was the comment section of that video on YouTube was so people were so forthcoming with praise, but also just really happy that we were doing that. Yeah. And I went back quite a few times over the week after, just reading people's comments. Yeah. Which I don't think I'm kind of at this point like I'm immune to that with my own videos. But just, I was so pleased that I got to be there, and the amount of people that were pleased for me that I got to be there, that was in itself really nourishing. I got a lot out of that.
Yeah, no, I bet you did. It was awesome.
Very lucky, a very good experience.
Right, next week, what have we got?
The next one.
I mean, this is just like fairy tale ukes, isn't it?
So this is my Revelator, a Kala Revelator. Everyone who's watching this channel probably knows the Kala Revelator. So I have a very good friendship with Pete Howlett, who designed it, and I was involved in getting the Revelator into the hands of Mike Upton, so that Mike Upton went, "Wow, this is great, this is the future." And we went out for a dinner, and Geraint from Kala UK and myself and Rob, who used to own Sus, were just saying, "Look, you need to do this. This is where the ukulele is going." And I wish I'd got Pete to make me one. I think Pete would have made me one if I'd asked. Yeah. But I never did that. But when they started coming through from the US, every single one that came through, they were making small tweaks, and I don't think Pete would feel bad if I said that those tweaks were for the better. Like, when Pete sold that idea, I think it was about legacy. He knew that his time building, due to illness, was, it was gradually coming to an end, and he wanted to live on, and he wanted his designs to live on, because he's a quirky guy, an eccentric guy, and he makes great instruments. And the improvements from one delivery to the next were really obvious to me. And that's included in the Night Owl, which everyone wants, and they are coming back into stock. At the time of filming, it's been 6 months of just not being able to get them. But the US Revelators last year, I sold more of these than I did Kawaloa and Kamaka combined. Yeah. And those two K Hawaiian brands that we've been doing since I started at Southern Ukulele Store, they've always been massive sellers. But there were so many people that came in to try them, that saw a Revelator, held it to their body, and then they went, "Wow, I've never played anything like this," and they chose it. So I really wanted to make sure that I got a left-handed one early in production, because I wanted to, in 3-4 years' time, I wanted to be able to compare it to the change, because I love, even with those kind of layers we've talked about, there's a 5-year production gap, and I can tell you the real eccentricities and how they've improved production in that time. It's nerdy, but it's self-indulgent, but ultimately I look at these things all the time, so if anyone's going to be nerdy and self-indulgent, you'd hope it would be
perfect
me.
Person.
So this is Karina, which is the standard wood. Anyone who says any other wood for their Revelator, theirs is a custom. It's like if you like guitars, a 1950.
Get my Koa one out.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like a 1954 Strat has to be sunburst, and a 1951 Telecaster has to be butterscotch, and I'm trying to think of another example. Like an Aston Martin has to be an Aston Martin. You know what I'm trying to say? And I just felt like Carina is the wood that Pete felt sounded great with his ukuleles, and I wanted my Kala Revelator to be that wood. And sound-wise, it's it resonates really well against your body.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
When you pick it up and you play it, because I've played other slimline ukuleles, but you feel it in your ribs.
And this is another nerdy fact, but 10 years ago when Carla first started making ukuleles in Petaluma in California, we didn't like them because the backs, when you put them to your body, they absorb too much.
Yeah.
Ironically, that's what makes these good.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's got this slimline body and the top is laid on rather than kind of it's just laid on, it's more like one piece on a body that's carved out. It's just perfect, and it's not the only ukulele that's amazing, but I feel like we're always looking for a reason to have more than one instrument.
Yeah.
And this does something different to everything else.
I was going to say, there's nothing quite like the Revelator.
No.
I mean, I said on our video last week that R1's going, but I've been saying that for the 2.5 years since I bought it.
No.
It's still not gone anywhere.
No. You just got to keep them.
That's just what I tell Abby.
It's this time of year. It's really trendy for people to sell in when it's cold and it's dark and it's wet.
Yeah.
Everybody starts selling their musical instruments. I find it every year, like January, February, March, everyone's always selling, and no one's buying. And the problem with a Revelator is you get to the summer and you sit outside and the weather's nice, and you play it quietly and you feel it against your body.
Yeah.
You're never going to get rid of it.
I love using ours in the band.
Yeah.
One, because it's a passive pickup, which I really like.
Okay.
Just because I'm fed up with batteries going flat on me. But also we do like a lot of distorted stuff. So you've got this beautiful sounding instrument that you can play acoustically, and it sounds absolutely amazing, and you feel that. But actually, if you plug it in, it's one of the best I've found to amp up.
Yeah, because of the passive pickup.
Yeah,
the passive pickup helps. I used to play guitar that way. I don't play around with the effects so much, but you're not the only person who said that to me about these. I know for a fact, Carla. I don't. There's no name for it yet, but I saw a picture the other day of a solid version of this. Yeah. And I think they just understand. There's a certain portion of the market that's what people are looking for.
But I find you can play them as if they're a solid version.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the feedback problems that I'd get on another uke and things like that. And it's got that feel to it. So it's just another element. But at the end of the day, it's also an amazing acoustic.
Yeah. I have had a few people ask us to upgrade the pickup to a my site. And it does work. If anyone out there wants an active pickup, you can change it. But the passive pickup's really good. It's probably the lowest spec thing on a Revelator.
Yeah.
But I get why they haven't changed it.
I like a passive pickup.
Yeah, no, this is good. I've done quite a few gigs where this is the only uke I've taken.
Yeah.
And there's something really comforting about playing this.
Yeah.
I do find, though, if I play other ukuleles that have a fat body for too long, I go to play this at a gig and I just keep missing it. I keep missing the strings completely. I look down at the ukulele like it's the ukulele's fault.
Yeah.
So that's my Revelator anyway. And that's, for me, it's about... It was by far the most popular uke for us last year. And I just wanted to make sure that I didn't let that time pass.
I don't know why. I mean, we've not seen your final uke yet, but I don't know why. I feel like would be the one that would surprise the most people.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
I don't know either. I think it's very difficult because quite a few different brands have offered me a signature model. Like, say, what would you do? And the problem with doing that is that it makes me look impartial. But I'm allowed, I like what I like, and I can, and I can still appreciate the differences for other people. But the Revelator is the only uke of the 4 here today that I bought with my own money. Like I paid for this, and you're not getting anything for free from Carla.
Well, I guess that's kind of the thing, though, isn't it? I guess that's what it is. And respect to Carla, because for Carla to break into, you've tried ukes from everybody, and can't think that there's probably another Carla that would maybe break into this.
Actually,
collection.
do you know what? Something they produced a very small run of salt and pepper dog hair finished US ukuleles. Yeah. They've now done it at a more affordable price point, and it's excellent. I think if I had £300 to spend on a ukulele, I would choose the Carla KASTHT or SDHC. That dog hair mahogany uke sounds great, but 7 or 8 years ago I had the tenor and concert versions of that, and for 4 years they were the only ukes I owned. And a customer of mine, a guy called Frank, who I love, like just really enthusiastic ukulele collector, he bought one of the baritones from me and he lent it to me for about 6 months and I just did not want to give it back. There's something about like a gloss mahogany has a very distinctive ukulele traditional sound, but they don't look traditional, and I can't really say too much, but I just think it would be really good if Carla did that and that, and maybe that's something that might happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave that there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And if it did happen, maybe it'd happen like September, October time.
Maybe.
Yeah. So this ukulele is just another one of those really lovely surprises, and I think most people who know who I am from my channel will have seen this already, but this is a ukulele made for me by Coast. Now, Kavai at Coast is one of the most inspirational human beings I've met. Just has a really unique story that's quite sad. It's not my story to tell, but the reason that Kavai makes ukuleles is really pure. It's like a lot of the Hawaiians. They like making instruments. They like spreading that aloha spirit. And Kavai offered to build me a ukulele, and I didn't really think it would ever happen. I thought, oh, this is really nice, but this person's, they're trying to make a living, and it's not my, I'm not on the take. Like when people have made me things, and I've always honest about that, because I think it's important that people know, I haven't got thousands and thousands of pounds, and I appreciate the things that people have given me. But this one was special for different reasons, because Kavai inlaid me and my 2 boys on Vespers on the fingerboard. And just talking about it makes me cry.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I did, as many people do, I had to kind of start over again in my mid-30s, and I took up riding scooters with my dad and my brother. And it was like this midlife crisis hobby, I call it. But it really saved me. Like, it really did. Rather than me sat on my phone looking at social media non-stop and be getting in my own head, I got out on a scooter and I couldn't look at a screen and I couldn't think. I had to think about what I was doing, and I did something like 20,000 miles in my first year on a Vespa, which permanently messed up my back. But that bond I had with the scooter was really important to me. And my boys, they both have their own little scooters, and I do it with my dad and my brother. So there's a part of me that looks at this and I see my dad, my brother and I, and it's just a really lovely, amazing storyboard inlay down a fingerboard that really shows off what this particular builder can do. The top is reclaimed Hawaiian spruce. So this has come, I may be wrong, I feel like this came from a bowling alley. And then we've got some really lovely I actually can't remember off the top of my head if it's cola or mango because it's so unique. I think this is mango. I should know, but every time I look at this ukulele, I look at this and I just feel it rather than analyse it. This is the uke I've owned with where the sound port is the most it works. If you cover the sound port up, it's a completely different sounding instrument. I had an email this morning from somebody saying, I'm thinking of drilling into the side of my ukulele and making a sound port. Do you think it will sound good? Like, I don't know. Please don't do it. I'm definitely not telling you to do it.
Just buy one with a sound port.
Don't do it. And it was a funny email, but it made me think about this ukulele at the time because I've got a couple of ukes with sound ports, but this is the one where you'd really hear everything. That everything that you can hear out the front, you hear out of here.
That's giving me palpitations.
Oh yeah, well,
do not drill into the side of your ukulele.
Now the worst part about that is that this ukulele isn't baritone scale, it's not tenor scale, it's somewhere in the middle.
Right.
So Kavai made it this way for me so I can tune it like a baritone if I want. Yeah. But it's not. It lacks something that a normal baritone has, so I tend to play it in G, C, E, A or a tiny bit lower, and that's the sweet spot, and that's when this works really, really well. But the problem with playing the scale, just that's like an inch longer, is that if you go from playing one instrument to this, you make loads of mistakes, and with that side sound port, you hear all of it.
Can I have a look at the
Have a look
at the inlay? I mean, it's just a work of art, isn't it? I mean, it's.
But Kavai just inspires me.
Yeah.
I've not met somebody or spoken to somebody that's kind of had that effect on me so quickly. The first time I spoke to them was on like an Instagram call, and within about 5 minutes, I was just completely sold on this person. I didn't even need to play the instruments to know that the instruments were going to be as good as Kavai.
I think if somebody made me something like that, I'd still be crying now.
Do you know? I'm an emotional guy. When you have, when you have kids, you just suddenly you cry at everything.
If we grow a beard, it means we're emotional.
Really?
We're trying to look, but we're pussycats.
Do you cry at Bluey?
I don't cry Bluey. No. It's been a little. My little boy's 8, so it's been a while since we've watched too much Bluey.
Okay. So I cry at everything, right? The day this ukulele arrived. So anyone who doesn't
your beard's bigger than mine. That's why.
I cannot help it. It's like one day the floodgates opened and they never closed. But Romeo, who works with me at SUS, is also very emotional. Like really, like. We don't need to have a deep conversation, but if something hits you in the feels, you can he's an empath. You can feel it hit him, and I didn't expect this when it arrived. And Romeo, it was Romeo, maybe Phil knew, and made sure that I filmed me opening it. And I sat looking at it, and I felt absolutely nothing initially. It was like my body went into like this kind of like self-preservation.
Like, what am I looking at?
And then I filmed the video for the store. And then I sat and looked at it and I just burst into tears. And then I rode home that night and I was by myself for whatever reason, and I was making dinner, and I just remember like cooking a steak, crying my eyes out.
Yeah.
Just a lovely gift that someone got me. And the next day I went in and Romeo said, "How does it feel?" And I said, "It's a bit like in Bluey when..." and I paid Romeo to sit and watch an episode of Bluey on my laptop during work time, and he cried like me.
Okay,
and he got how I felt.
Send me the link, I'll watch it later and I'll see what effect it has on me.
If it doesn't make you cry, there's something wrong with you.
I think I probably know which one you're on about. My wife Tracy, she watched it with my little boy because it was like the new Cirrus or something, wasn't it? And it
Oh,
was,
don't know.
And she was like,
Right.
She cried. And I'm too scared to watch it.
No, so you're the end of Bluey is an emotional journey. My girlfriend's Lithuanian, and she doesn't wear her heart on her sleeve like I do. And now when I watch Bluey with my kids, she's like, "Are you all right there, Daddy?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm okay." And she's like trying to stop me from just like crying my eyes out all the time at it. The new year. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, we were just having a chat before this about kind of who our audiences are on our channels. None of them know who Bluey is, so hopefully they're all going to
you would know who Bluey is. Bluey is like the Simpsons at this point. It doesn't matter.
Bluey is huge.
Bluey's bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah, send me the link. I'll watch that one and see.
I will.
It will make me. I mean, I'm getting emotional thinking what it might be.
If only I really wish this would be a great time for me to know the theme tune to Bluey to play this video out. I don't know, unfortunately.
I tell you what we will do. Possibly at the end of this video or another video, me and Abby will sit in here. We'll watch the episode of Bluey and we'll film it and see. Abby will be in floods of tears.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. Abby's. She's got the. She's got the soul in there. Yeah. I'm not saying you don't.
Once you said no, my soul.
But Abby definitely has the soul.
My soul died a long time ago.
It's hard in this business.
Yeah. This is my favourite without hearing them.
Yeah.
This is my favourite just because how could it not be?
I don't bring this one out very often. No. Especially as I have a track record of leaving instruments.
Yeah, don't leave this one behind. Yeah.
But if
you leave one this behind, I'm going to have to grow my beard out a little bit and get a Vespa.
yeah, that's it. It's the only way, yeah. But this one, I felt like we're talking on camera and you said to me, we'll make some content like this. And I thought, this doesn't leave the shop, actually. I don't even take this one home. This one stays at the shop because I get customers come in every week that want to see it.
Yeah.
So I leave it in a case in the office and I go, yep, have a look.
No, it's special, isn't it? Yeah. But also, there's something about the wooden top. Obviously, not knowing it came from a bowling alley.
Well, I might be wrong about that, but I think Kavai said something like that to me. But yeah, it's definitely reclaimed.
Talking about having soul, there's just something about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's got a vibe that not every musical instrument has. Like when you see an old violin hung up on the wall, you can tell you can tell it's got a story. This is an instrument like that.
No, beautiful. Wow. So that's been awesome.
It's been emotional.
It's been emotional. We thought we'd start the night with just a little, very brief interview with Alex. I'm sure you all know Alex and know about Southern Ukulele Store and everything else. But yeah, we thought we can't be out of the limelight for the whole evening, can we? So if we're not playing, we'll have to talk and do something.
It's all an act, by the way. Like, none of them want to be in the limelight at all. It just feels that way when they're on camera.
I tell you, here's my first question: are you quite a shy person?
No.
Cross is being quite shy.
No, I think I'm quite a calm person. But I'm not shy at all. Like there's very few situations where I felt really, really embarrassed in my entire life. Like earlier on, someone saw me walk into the toilet door. Absolutely fine.
We've all been there.
I don't know. I was unconscious.
Does anyone actually watch our channel, the AnarchyInTheUkulele channel? In which case, you'll know what this interview will go like when Abby starts asking her questions. Probably won't have anything to do with the ukulele. I'm just going to warn you.
That's not true. My first question is ukulele related.
Okay, do you want to do your first question now?
You're trapped on a desert island.
Mm-hmm.
What is the one ukulele that you're taking to play forever?
Well, I think I would need something that had a pointy headstock so I could fish with it. So let's say an Enya.
Yeah.
If it was actually about playing it, if I took this is the most nerdy, boring answer in the world, but if I took something that was actually like really good, the temperature and the humidity would ruin it. So let's once again say an Enya Nova U plastic ukulele because they sound pretty good, they're well made, you could use it to survive. It's a durable instrument. They should put that in the market.
They should. They really should. Catfish.
I'm going to say the most knowledgeable people that know about ukuleles give those kind of answers. Phil Dolman said his what's his carbon fibre?
Yeah.
The cloche.
Yes, yeah.
Because he wanted it would float and he thought he could make a canoe out of it. But if that fails, he can make a raft and it'd be really good oar.
Have you ever fished with a ukulele?
Have you?
I've never picked up a ukulele.
Right, we got one more question. It is going to be a desert island question.
Okay.
I can't believe you didn't ask
I was
this.
building up to it.
Well, I'm going to ask it now.
Okay.
But there's two parts to this. One is going to be your answer, and then I want you to guess the answer that the hedge inspectors gave to this question. You know.
I know them. I'm not well enough to answer this question, but we can try.
It's the best answer we've ever had.
Okay.
You're on this desert island, and there happens to be a private chef.
It's very good.
He's amazing.
Really good price.
World class, 3 Michelin star chef.
Yeah.
But he can only cook one meal.
Where does he
It's
get
good and bad.
Don't
worry
We don't worry about that. You can only cook one meal, and so you'll have that meal for your stay on the desert island. What would your one meal be?
I don't know. This is a weird. I'm more interested in what the hedge inspectors have to say. I'm boring. Like, does he do pot noodle? I'd like to know what a Michelin do. Pot noodle.
Can he make his own? Do you like ramen?
Yeah, I love ramen.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what a pot noodle really is? It's just ramen.
Kind of.
Cheese
No
ramen,
way,
isn't it?
mind blown. What was the hedge inspector's answer?
The hedge inspector's answer was a baked potato.
Just a
No butter,
Baked
no
potato
cheese.
and a salad, which
Just a
I
baked
assumed
potato.
to just be lettuce and tomato.
Yeah, but you know, I'd like to think that a Michelin star chef can do something with a baked potato.
So again, your creative mind is taking this to somewhere that we hadn't thought of.
They weren't.
I think you're giving me far too much
No,
credit.
we were
I just
like,
don't
you
how
know,
to answer the question.
I want a roast dinner, or you've gone no, make the Michelin chef work for his money.
Just plain potato,
Yeah.
lettuce and tomato.
Right,
Do you all feel like you've got a really good glimpse of what it's like working here? I've got a really good glimpse of it
This
in the
is-
last 10 minutes.
this is pretty much what it's like.
Yeah, there you go.
On a daily basis, we discuss food an awful lot. Anyway, on that non-ukulele related shenanigans, we're going to hand over to Alex.
One day you'll know what this all means. Right now you're lying in bed with the world in your head as you sleep. I know one day you won't look like me. I can already tell that you love him as well, my baby. What am I supposed to do? Let him have a piece of you too. Now I'm out of my depth. There ain't nothing left. I'll only end up hurting myself. One day you might figure it out. Think you knew for a while you were planning some miles after me. One day you lose your way. Can you tell by my voice that I'm lost for no choice I leave? What am I supposed to do? Let him have a piece of you too. Now I'm out of my depth, babe. There ain't nothing left, and I always end up hurting myself. I'll always wind up hurting myself.
we might have cut in the clip there that's just like me and Abby blubbing.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to feel really stupid.
Yeah, no. Oh, you'll get Abby, don't worry. You'll get Abby, you'll get Sam.
Yeah.
Sam cries at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, most people. There's something about
Yeah.
Bluey, like emotionally, it's healed me.
If we really have to, we'll bring Paul in because he can't stop crying. Can he? So-
They walk in crying.